shit. We're dads.
So I feel like mom's day out right now.
That's definitely a real thing. Like when you first have your baby, when
Yeah.
you're like away from them, you definitely get that mom dad guilt for sure.
I'm never away from him except when I'm at work. So right now I'm like,
It's very weird.
Yeah.
I remember with Cortland when I went back to work, it was like I was just like really. It was like easy. I think I've said this before. It was kind of easy because like I had to go back to work. Like I was the breadwinner at the time, so it's like you had to do it. You had like a reason to do it. So it was kind of like easier than like 6 months later where it was just kind of like shit. I'm just at work all day. I never see this kid, but it's definitely like really tough just because like. Lexi's sending me pictures of him all day. Like he's doing all these cool things, and I'm at work selling people mobile service.
I'm at work against my will, but everyone at work knew I was pregnant because I worked up until 35 weeks. So I'm at work, but everyone's talking about my baby. So I just kind of I'm like, yeah, I'm getting updates all day. He's on a walk right now. He's doing tummy time.
Oh,
So that's good.
where is he while you're working?
He's with Nick.
Nick.
Yeah.
How old is Luca?
He just turned 4 months.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like he's already about to like get his driver's license or something. Like, why is it going so fast?
What phase is he in right now? What are his milestones?
So he is so happy all the time. He's laughing and smiling. He likes to be out and about. When I'm at home, he's so bad. Well, okay, not so bad. He is actually a really easy baby. I feel like my next one, I'm going to have one coming for me. But one day I was having such a hard time with him, and I was like, Mom, I need you to come over right now. Like, and she walks in, and he's just like, he's an angel. I said, it's a fraud. Like, it's fake. He's so good when other people come around.
Right.
But I was at the pediatrician on Thursday, and they were like, okay, 4 months sleep regression's going to come up. I was like, no, I'm already in that. Like, we're good. We had the worst night, Friday night and last night.
Oh, no, really?
So I don't.
What's going on? Is he just like up in the middle of the night wanting to play?
Screaming. He's not wanting to eat. Nothing. Or last night he was just up. Oh. And I'm like, go to bed. Yeah. So
are you breastfeeding, pumping, formula?
I'm mostly pumping, but I'm nursing in the night.
Nice.
Which I wish I started out doing that.
Okay.
Because I was trying to just pump and bottle feed, but at night it is so easy to just.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like doing everything, and he gets formula at bedtime.
Okay, nice.
So he's very like breast milk, bottle, boob.
He gets
everything.
He gets it all.
It makes it easy though when you're out on the go. I can be like whatever.
Right.
So,
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
So fun fact, Nick was actually instrumental in the birth of our second child. Did you know that?
I heard.
He was very important.
Yes.
He played a pivotal role in the birth of Cooper.
Both times.
I don't know about
Both
this.
times that we went to the
either.
hospital. Because we went to the hospital, like, what was it, like 3 days before Cooper was born?
Yeah.
And they sent me home, and he helped
He's
us
like,
get our car.
I just saw your friend.
And I was crying. I was trying not to make eye contact with him, but I was like, because I was crying because I got sent home and I just wanted to be done. And so like I was like hysterically crying, and I'm like looking at the ground. Don't look at me.
No, he texts me when he sees everyone. He's like, so and so's having their baby. I'm like, T.
Oh wait, hold on. So I saw him too, and it was like 4 a.m, and I'm like, yeah, he knows we're not just coming in for an appointment.
Yeah.
That's a good job though.
I don't think I heard about you guys.
So he's loyal to us, or he has no idea who I am, which is upsetting because I did ride bikes with him one time in 4th grade. Has he ever told you that?
No, he knows who, because you guys are kind of neighbors-ish. Or
Yeah, grew up as neighbors.
Yeah.
We did ride bikes one time.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Wait, are you guys in the same grade?
No, he was 15, right? 2015.
One under me, so 15.
Yeah.
I love how we still refer to like grades.
Right?
I know, we're like, what grade is he in?
Yeah, I've been out of school for 10 years, guys. 12 years.
I also want to mention this. He's very beautiful. He's a good-looking man.
He is a beautiful man.
Yes.
People are like,
You
oh
see
my gosh,
his
the
face
baby
when you
looks
said that?
he looks just like his daddy. And I'm like, I hope he does.
Yeah, very good looking man. And Bear has had a new kind of interest in, talking about how beautiful men are. So let's hear your
my
opinion
man
on
is
Nick.
beautiful. Have you seen him?
Yes, he is daddy.
He is daddy with a Z.
Oh, daddy with a Z.
A zaddy.
Like, I was kind of
Ooh.
hoping he could come today just so we could see him.
So I wanted him to. This would be his worst nightmare.
Oh, really?
Oh,
He
really?
is. I'll take the kid. He's like, he's not a.
Maybe one day we'll get him on.
But
Maybe when he sees how fun this was, he'll be
Yeah.
like, "Damn, I missed out."
Oh, he was like, what are you gonna say on there?
Yeah,
Bear
we're
only
talk-
wants hot dads on.
Yeah,
the
only
podcast.
hot dads.
He
Hot
actually only
dads
wants hot
only.
guys too. Ryan Levitt's not even a guy, and he wants him because he's hot.
He's not even a dad, not a guy.
Oh, he's not even a dad. He is a guy.
But he's a
So
good
he would
looking
be
man.
the exception.
He's
You
already
don't
been the
even have to
exception
be the
once.
dad.
and-
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's already been the exception, but he's a very good looking man.
God, he is
and
good-looking.
I want to get him on so that we can get him to be a
Yeah.
daddy. Because I'm shocked that
Yeah.
somebody has not born his seed yet.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, he's really good. Like him in the you saw the 70s video, like
Yeah.
pulled it off.
It's me and Lexi were doing the room last night, and this is completely unrelated, but have you guys ever heard that song, like I Want to Be My Dad in 1985? Oh man,
We
I'm gonna
have
have
to show you guys. It's so funny.
Can you play a clip?
you know,
Snip it, I mean.
It's like a parody song or
I
like a
wanna
real
be
song?
my dad.
hold on, I can probably play
kind of
it.
both. So you know that TikTok song where it's about Jeff Bezos and it's like CEO entrepreneur?
yes.
It's the same guy who sings that song and it's called 1985 and he's like white guy 1985 and it's like an 80s vibe and then he's like then he goes into a talking song and he's like some guys are Italian.
Wait, so what is it about this song that you're talking about? What is the point to it?
I
Just that he likes the song.
Okay.
no,
Wait, is parent like nostalgia like a real thing? Like I always wish I could be my dad, like in his room with like girls on the wall and a poster, listening to Led Zeppelin. Like, do you guys have those things too? Or is that
Sometimes when
Yeah,
my mom
right?
like talks about what she was like when she was a teenager and stuff, I'm like, damn, you lived a wild life.
Oh, my mom grew up in New York. So we're watching Sex and the City. She's like, this was my life. And I'm like, but my parents were crazy. They were in trouble. So.
you know what always shocks me? Like, it's weird that like this didn't exist before, but I'm always just like, when you guys went out drinking, like, how did you get home? You guys didn't have Uber. They're just like, well, we just fucking drove.
Yeah, true.
My mom was saying how she got, like when she was a teenager, she was telling us the story how she got the people she was with she was in like a pickup truck and everyone was sitting on laps and it was like 10 people in this one pickup truck.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
and they got pulled over and she was the only one that was 14. Everybody else was at 16 or older. So she had no ID. So all the other ones got in trouble because they had IDs and they had to provide them, but she didn't have an ID. And they were just like, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Times
you're
are
good to go.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's wild. Like, you don't even think about it, but it's just like, if you went out drinking one night and like you didn't have the access to Uber, like how the hell are you getting home?
Right.
Like if you're
I mean,
in
they still
downtown
did have
Orlando,
taxis.
yeah, but nobody's calling
yeah.
a fucking taxi. You know, if you're downtown
Yeah.
Orlando,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
nobody's getting taxis. Everybody's just driving drunk. You know, like
Right?
Right.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's just wild to think that people were just like that was just what they did. Like, you know?
That's
crazy.
terrifying.
So you said you were going back to work. When did you start back at work?
I went back when he was 3 months.
Oh, so not that long
And
ago.
I'm dramatic. I'm like, I do not want to be here. I'm there once a week. And
Oh, that's not bad.
it's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
really
do you just like
dramatic.
do it so you are able to get out of the house and get like social with different type of people?
No, I'm there because I have to take care of my own problems that I, made for myself.
Understand.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have to be there.
Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom if
Yeah,
possible?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
that's my goal.
Yeah, your goal.
He knows it, but like, is he on with it? I don't know. But I will be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. That's awesome. How has the change, even though it's only 1 day a week, how is that? Like when you come home, are you like, oh my gosh, I missed you? Or you're like, oh, that was like nice to be out of the
No,
house?
Everyone said like you're gonna love being away because it is like a break and adult interaction.
Right.
I hate it. And then I come home and it's almost his bedtime and I'm like, I just missed a whole day with you. Even though I'm with
Right.
him 6 days.
True.
And I carry in,
Yeah.
in the motherhood department. So it feels weird to not.
To
Or
just,
if I'm
right.
at work and I can feel like I need to like pump or feed him, I'm like, he's hungry.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Do you,
know
are
that
you able
weird-
to do that at work? Do they like have a side break for you? if needed?
Yeah, we have a room where I can go in, but it's like as a bartender, if it's busy, I'm not going.
Right.
Who's gonna be there?
Right.
So it's kind of hard, and I don't want my supply to dip, so
Right,
I just
yeah.
get anxiety being there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How is your
I don't
supply?
wanna be there. Not good.
Not good. I had a problem with mine too, and I
Really?
tried like everything under the
Same.
sun, and nothing was working. And I had such a hard time accepting it because I wanted to be able to do that. And finally, like she wasn't gaining weight, and like my pediatrician was like, "You need to start supplementing."
Yeah.
So then we did, and it was like all around better for I feel like my mental because I was like always like, "Oh my gosh, like." Formula this, but then I'm like, what's wrong with it? She's being fed.
Yeah.
Fed is best.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion
agree.
now. So before it's like, have talked about this before, where social media is such a good thing, but then it can also have the downsides to it. And like, you see all the things where it's like, breast is best, and yes, that's awesome if you can do that, but having a fed baby is the best. You know,
Exactly.
so that like really helped my mental, and I did it as long as I could too. I did it all the way until my boobs were only producing 1 ounce. And then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Like, I'm drained. I'm tired.
See, at the beginning, I felt like it wasn't normal that I didn't have the best supply. And it wasn't until 3 months that I felt like I actually kind of had
Oh, yeah.
regulated. I went through it with breastfeeding. But I was like, well, I've made it this far. I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
But before, when I was pregnant, I was very like, I'll formula feed.
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't really, I
okay.
was really, and then once I started doing it, I was like, no, I want to
So, like,
do this.
opposite.
Yeah, it
switch.
kind of flipped.
Yeah.
But I just made little goals. I was like, okay, let's get to 4 months. And now I'm at 4
Oh,
months. And
see,
I'm like,
that's
let's get to
great.
6 months.
Yeah.
And then at 6 months, but I think at 10, I'd want to like, either
Right.
way.
Were you able to build up a freezer stash, or did you do that?
I am like a just enougher.
Just, that's good.
So
yeah.
he gets it.
Right.
And that's good.
Right,
But I
right.
don't have more.
Right.
then-
Which is fine, though.
Yeah.
You're doing the best that you can, obviously.
And I don't eat.
Oh,
Like, did you
okay,
guys
yeah.
struggle with that where it's like, I'm not eating?
Yes,
like,
we talked about that. Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
like, Like,
yeah.
Like everyone, I don't know. I feel like everyone is always like, oh, when you're breastfeeding, you're so hungry. Like you want to eat everything all the time. And when I was breastfeeding, I was like having to force food down my throat.
I was like, am I normal? Why
Yeah.
am I not hungry?
And the pediatrician's like, you need to be eating protein. You need to be drinking this amount of water. You need to be doing this, this, and this. And like, I just like couldn't do it. Like I was like forcing myself, and Brandon like, you need to be eating more. You need to be doing this. And I'm like, I can't. Like I have no appetite. I do not want to
See,
eat.
I'm hungry. Really? But I live off of cookies and Dr. Pepper. So I won't feel good. And Nick's like,
Yeah.
well, what did you have today? Like, iced coffee and a Dr. Pepper, maybe.
Right,
like,
right.
So it's like, am I really doing everything for my milk supply, or am I doing like
You're doing what you can.
You're doing
I'm
what you
doing what I
can,
can.
right,
But
right,
the baby needs me.
right.
He doesn't let me eat. He doesn't.
You have a Velcro baby.
I tried making mac
Yeah.
and cheese, and the water sat on the stove so long it disappeared. Like I didn't get back to it. So
funny.
that's where I'm at with that.
So how was your labor delivery with Luca? Would you want to touch on that?
Yeah.
Well, wait, let's
Yeah?
go back to the very
Okay.
start
Okay, let's
of
do it.
your pregnancy, like
Yeah.
trying to get
Okay,
pregnant.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you had a journey there too.
Yeah.
We would love to hear that.
So it's no secret. I always wanted to be a mom. Like, I feel like my purpose is to be a mom. I want as many as I possibly can have. But I always kind of had this feeling. I was like, I just don't feel like things are right. I feel like I always had painful periods, like the type where I'm on the bathroom floor, I'm passing out, fainting,
My
pale
goodness.
white. So I thought maybe I had something going on. My best friend got diagnosed with endometriosis, and that she fought for years. Doctors do not listen. Women's health,
Right.
just you need to really fight for answers
Yeah.
in that. And that kind of lit something under me where I was like, okay, I need to go get everything checked. And along the way, I was like, okay, Nick and I, it's been a year of we weren't like, oh, it's time. Like, we weren't like, we need a baby right now. Especially
Right.
Nick was like, we have things we need to figure out.
Yeah.
But it was more so we were just trying to get answers on what was going on with me
Of course.
and that. And so in that process, I had a lot of extensive treatments, or not treatments, like
Testing?
testing exams.
Oh, okay.
Cameras up and in
Oh,
my
yeah.
tubes and things
Wow.
like that. And I got a test done in my tubes, and they were like, this could increase your chances of getting pregnant by 40% for up to 3 months.
Oh.
And I told Nick that, and I was like, so, just saying. But my doctor was like, with where your numbers are at, you might need treatment to get pregnant.
Okay.
So she was like, I want you to start tracking. Let's see if you're ovulating. And this was in January. And I was like, okay, so I went home, I bought a thermometer. We were like testing to see if I was ovulating. And then we would reconsider when to start treatment if that's what we wanted to do. But at least we would know that when we wanted to have a baby, that's what we needed to do. And I just had that answer.
Right.
That was a big possibility. And they were like, this could cause duplicates,
my
like
gosh.
multiples and all this. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Well, I literally got pregnant that month.
Wow.
So we think it's because I had the thing done on my tubes because it had been so long of not getting pregnant. And then right after I did that, I was pregnant. So I don't know what that means for me next time.
Have you had a follow-up with where you went?
That was it. I was going to a fertility center and they didn't hear a word from me. I was just pregnant right after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what that means because I do think that's the only reason I got pregnant. So I don't know if next time if we will have to do the treatment.
Right.
Because I think I just got pregnant from that.
So it was a one round of treatment in your tubes that you had received?
No, it wasn't even treatment. It was testing. They injected
okay.
dye up into your tubes to see that it like flows out and everything was clear. But they said sometimes if you have a blockage, it's going to push that out and then that's going to make you get pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So they told me that my tubes were clear, but then I got pregnant.
That's so interesting.
I'm like, were they actually or did I have a blockage?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know what getting pregnant next time will look like because it took over a year for me to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Which is considered kind of normal, but when you have other issues going on, it does make you like,
Have you gotten your period back since? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are you feeling
I'm not
now?
regular or anything yet.
Okay.
So.
I wasn't either to
Yeah.
start when I first got mine. It's more regular now, but I feel like it took a while to get into that regular.
Because I was
Mine
28 days on the
Yeah.
dot
Yeah.
before.
Mine with Court was really irregular, but I've had 2 now with Cooper, and they've been very regular. So
Mine took because I remember we talked about that with Denver. Like I had asked you if yours were irregular. Like I think I didn't miss a month, but it was like a month and a half. It took it took
mine went from being 4 weeks to like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
And I didn't get a period until like 6 months with Cortland, and with Cooper I got it at 2 months.
See, I'm nervous. I was looking at my app and I was like, whoa. I was like, that's me right now. I'm like, where's it at? Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely more. I feel like I haven't heard much about that because that's when we were talking about that after having her, but how irregular they can be. So it might just be
I think
taking time to like recycle back. Yeah.
And I know that too when you're breastfeeding too, they say
Plot
that
twist.
like you don't, when you're breastfeeding, some people don't get a period at all.
Yes,
or
that's very true.
they stay irregular because of the hormones that you're still producing and stuff. So
Right, constantly all over. I saw a thing that it can take up to a year or over for your hormones to be like regulated back, which is insane to think about, but it makes sense. Your whole body just changed to have a baby, so I get that.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. It'll be interesting to see next kid, like if
I know
it'll just happen.
I hope that there's nothing, because if it's up to me, when Luca turns 1, I'm like,
you're ready for
let's go.
Yeah, right.
I thought I was gonna want to go back to back to back, but I love him so much that I see now where when you told me you were pregnant and you were like, I don't know, you were like, this just feels weird to think about sharing my time, and I get that now where I'm like, oh, I just want to be with him. So
I see a lot of people talk about it. We talked about that in one of our podcasts together. It's like it's not that we're like completely split, but I thought right at a year I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to have another. But we're kind of just like, we're chilling. He's more so like, he grew up with a big family, so we had always talked about before Denver, like, oh my gosh, we want 4 to 5 kids. But now after having her, we're like so content. We're just chilling.
That happens.
It happens. And then I'm like, she loves kids so much, so she'd obviously love a sibling, but I don't know, just like how long do you wait? You don't know how long it's going to take someone to get pregnant and if there are any complications.
Right.
I feel like your body tells you when you want another one though, because like with Cortland, I was like, I don't want another one right now. And I was adamant, but now with Cooper, I'm kind of like, we could have another one soon.
Bears
Hold on. What did you just say?
I'm here for it. You guys
Hold
make
on.
really cute
What?
kids, so.
Hold on. This is brand new news to me.
Yep. Bear
Bear is always ready. We know that.
Yep.
Okay, so we can cut this out if it's not announced by then, but I'm sure it will be. So Sam had his baby, and
I thought you were about to say you're pregnant.
Oh my god, dude!
There's the
about-
fucking
I was
surprise.
like, let us catch up.
Why did I get a little scared? I was like, wait a
Bear's
minute.
like, is this an announcement for me too?
I was like, wait a
Please
minute.
do that.
oh my god,
Please do that to him.
I got a little scared for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. What is she about to say?
Is she about to-
I was
We
like,
have
oh,
a lot of
shit.
plot twists going on right here.
It's like, oh,
Oh my
shit.
god, I was so excited right there.
no, I'm not
Wait, would that
pregnant.
even be possible?
I'm literally on my period right now. I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
She's good.
Hey, we're on the same cycle.
I know we
Well, me
synced
too,
up.
but she's just a little.
Whoa.
She's
But
lost.
I feel like happy day.
I'm sorry.
Happy day.
That's how he'll feel when you have another one.
Singing happy birthday right
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a sign for sure.
Yeah, that.
No, I'm not pregnant. Let's get that out of the way. I'm not pregnant. But with Court, I was like, you know, I was adamant that I didn't want to be pregnant again. And I thought that at a year I'd be ready. And I got pregnant when he was 11 months and I was not ready. Like, I was like, I could have gone longer. But now with Cooper and then like seeing Sam have Lainey, I'm like,
What's
well,
one
damn. Kind of want another one.
I actually have seen that before where similar to literally the situation you're talking about, like 1 to 2 is like, oh, like how do I divide my time? But after you have that second, it's like, oh, okay. Like,
And I see, like, I
What's
always
one
see
more?
people say it gets easier each time. Like 0 to 1 is hard, but then 1 to 2 is a little bit easier, and then 2 to 3 is like whatever.
Right.
And then it makes you think like, oh, I could go for another one.
Wait, do you guys have joy and misery? Like, do you like have like, so I was just telling Sierra this morning, like I miss waking up in the middle of the night and being fucking miserable and feeding her. And I hated it in the moment and I was so tired, but now I'm like, oh, that was so
Yeah.
nice.
When we
Is that a real thing?
We'll look at the monitors at night, and I'll be like, we should just get Court up. We should get Cooper.
That too. As soon as he goes down, I'm like, oh my gosh, he really needs to go to sleep. And I
Yeah,
put him down.
I
I'm
can't wait for him to go to bed.
Yeah. No, I actually try to tell myself that in the middle of the night. Like last night, we had probably the worst night we've had. And I do tell myself that when I'm up with him, I'm like, I'm going to miss this. And I think that does kind of help, though.
In the moment, you're like, oh my God, I want to pull my hair out. But like, then eventually you're like, well, shit, like I kind of miss that. And like with Court, like when he doesn't sleep with us often, but sometimes, and when he does, it's like awful sleep for all of us. But then I'll see him in his crib and I'll be like, should we just like let him sleep in our bed?
well, thanks for being here, considering that you had a rough night. Thank you,
know,
so
yeah.
much. We appreciate
So
that.
excited. No, I love this. It's so cool.
Yay.
I really, listening to it on here, when the intro went off, I was like, whoa.
Right, we're getting started.
Because I didn't realize that you guys actually listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought they just insert it.
you can.
But it makes it so, it really sets
Yeah.
the vibe.
It does. It's like, oh shit, we're really starting.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're starting the podcast.
I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. I don't have headset.
She's talking about when we played the intro.
It just, when you
No,
put
no, no.
this
I
on,
understand
you're
what
in.
she's saying. I'm saying I just don't like. I don't feel the vibe of the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel a little bit left
Did I
out.
steal your...
Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
He doesn't wear the headphones half the time.
No, he
anyways,
doesn't.
when
He doesn't
we're-
because
when
he's
it's
always with
just
her.
us.
Yeah, I'm the emergency parent during the podcast. So if something happens, like if Cortland were to fall over, like I would be the
You
one
are
to
the
Lexi
dad
just
of
knows
the
she won't even
podcast.
budge. I'll get up and help him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
job. I don't know. I originally started the podcast and now I've slowly worked my way to the
Well,
bottom.
because he took over.
Yeah, I'm basically the unpaid intern at this
Yeah.
He
point.
stole it.
I do
He's
all the
like the
bitch work.
producer manager, but Sierra and I are actually like the stars of the shows. We're the co-podcasters.
I mean, our name.
the name.
The
No,
name makes
is.
no sense anymore.
no, it doesn't. It truly.
Well, we actually talked about changing it, but we
We
think
only
we're
interview
gonna
moms.
keep it. No, we're trying to find dads, but honestly, it's been really hard to find dads who feel comfortable to come on.
Bro, like I don't know what it is about dads.
Yeah, like
dads
my
are dicks.
zaddy.
Yeah, dads are dicks.
Funny because Brandon
Yeah.
actually was going to ask you a question about Daddy. He was like, I'm gonna ask Jessica.
Well,
What's the question?
Well, just to lead up to the question, I was going to ask you. I'm like, do you call Nick Daddy? And we've kindly got that answer.
It's funny that we were
definitely
talking about
Daddy.
that.
Because I was telling Lexi, I was like, just respectfully, I would appreciate, just here and there, you would call me Daddy. And she's like, okay, sure. But whenever
I
she,
said, okay, daddy.
Exactly. Exactly.
With a little less sarcasm, I said, okay, daddy. And he said, that's too business cast.
Yes.
Business casual.
Yes, I'm just like, just here and there. You know, I'm not asking for, just only, that's my name now, daddy.
I've never been into that.
Nick that's too government. What just went flying?
I don't even know how that happened.
That'll be a good clip.
What happened?
I'm not sure, but I will definitely isolate the flight path of that. That was impressive at the very least.
What? Just
Wow.
He knocked over his cup and it hit a crayon and it flew.
That was awesome.
Something flew?
yeah, you didn't see it?
No, I didn't see it.
It literally walked all the way to the corner.
Yeah, I already have some ideas on how I'm going to clip that. Yeah, that's going to be good.
Okay, so want to go into your birth story now
Yeah.
and your experience as a whole, then we'll talk about postpartum, but as much as you want to share it.
I love my birth story.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I got a membrane sweep at my last doctor's appointment.
How was that?
It was fun. Everyone was like, oh, it's the worst thing ever.
I've heard
it's not
that
worth
too.
it. It doesn't even work. Don't do it. And I was like, we're getting this baby out. Also, he was kind of running bigger. So I was like, we're
okay.
not going over. So I got a membrane sweep and I was like, oh, it probably won't work. Well, that night, in the middle of the night, I started losing my mucus plug. And I was like, oh, it's happening.
Right.
And then I started having contractions, but I didn't know if they were contractions. Was I texting you? Yeah. Being like, is this it? I just didn't think it was contractions. And I went all day. I bistled my couch. I scrubbed my shower.
I was nesting.
I was
last
doing
second.
everything
Yeah.
while I'm like, stop. But I was good. And Nick went and took our dog, to the vet. And I was texting him. I was like, I think we're going to the hospital. And again, he works at the hospital. So he sees these pregnant women come in all the time. He walks in, he goes, you're not in labor. I was like, oh, I'm in labor. I'm in labor. I was like, I really think so. He's like, I'm not taking you to the hospital. He did not believe me. He's like, I see what these ladies look like. You don't look like that. You're not in labor. And I was like, well, I'm not going to sleep tonight. And then waking up, the middle of the night thing was my biggest fear. I did not want to go in the middle of the night. I have nighttime anxiety. It's like, we're not going in the middle of the night. So at this point, it's like 6 o'clock. And I was like, let's just go and get me checked out. The whole way there, he's like, I can't believe you're making me take you to the hospital right now. I'm like, can you stop at Chick-fil-A though? I need to eat. He's like, we're stopping at Chick-fil-A, but you want me to take you to the hospital. He's like, I'm going to be mad when we get sent home. We're on the road, 5 minutes from the hospital. I'm in sweatpants. And I was like, I think my water just broke. But I don't, and I'm in the seat like this. Because contractions, if you haven't given birth, this, I feel like goes for a lot of people. It's in your butt.
Yeah.
So I'm like this. I'm like, I can't sit down. So I'm contracting. And I thought my water broke, but I wasn't sure. And then we get there and they're like, all right, let's see. I was only 2 centimeters dilated, but they checked to see if my water broke. And she was like, welcome to labor and delivery. And I was like, I looked at him and I'm like,
You're like,
yeah,
Bitch.
yeah, I'm in labor. High pain tolerance, I guess, or it just wasn't that bad. But as soon as I got there, pretty much they wanted me to get my epidural, and I was under the impression that I should wait for the epidural. So I was kind of like, I called my best friend who had just had a baby, and I was like, so would you tell me to wait, or should I get it? She was like, get it right now. And I was like, okay, because at this point I wasn't really in that much pain. Get my epidural, but things were not progressing, maybe because of the epidural, because they say sometimes that can slow it down. I don't know.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. So I get my epidural and it just was not progressing. So they were like, we're going to have to give you Pitocin, which basically is like being induced.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I get Pitocin. Fast forward, we're going all day. I didn't feel a thing, by the way. That epidural, peace, love, epidural. And I have scoliosis, so I was worried the
I've
whole
heard
time.
that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was like, she came in and I was like, I have scoliosis. What does that mean for me? I'm terrified. And she was like, basically, it can give you a hot spot where you can have one spot that it doesn't flow to. And that did happen to me, and it was in my right butt cheek.
Oh my god.
So every contraction I felt only in my right butt cheek.
Oh.
Yeah, so that
goodness.
was fun.
Yeah.
But I got, we're into the next day, overnight, and I got all the way up to 9 centimeters. And then they decide, or they were like, okay. Actually, no, before that, they told me he's sunny side up.
Oh, Denver came out sunny side up.
She came out like
She came out, and I
Yep.
was. I'll touch on that
Yeah.
after, but
so they came in and they're like, so he's facing up. Why don't they ultrasound like right when you get in there? By the way, like to tell me what's up. Anyways, so they're flipping me. Did they do like they put me on different medicine balls and they're
like
flipping
did
me?
you do the peanut ball?
Yes, and
trying
they're
to
just
get
like
him,
yeah, and they're trying to flip him. So we get to 9 centimeters, and my nurse was like, okay, we're like just about ready. I'm like, oh, it's go time. I'm
Yeah.
about to push this
How
baby
were you
out.
feeling at that point?
I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was pretty scared for the pushing out.
okay.
part. But at this point, I was like, this has gone amazing. It really had been my dream labor.
Oh,
like
good.
everything
That's
was so
good.
good. I had the best nurse. I came at the shift change. I came right at 7
In the morning.
At
You were-
night.
Oh,
the
at
prior
night.
night.
Okay,
so
the
I
night.
had her all the way. Like,
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I was really upset when my nurse was switching, but
Right.
so then I get to 9 centimeters and she's like, we're going to get ready. I'm going to go get the doctor. My doctor comes in and she's like, so he's sunny side up and crooked and stuck in your birth canal and you're spiking a fever and your heart rate's raised and so is his.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like,
All at
hold
once?
on, all at once. So she's like, so I'm going to give you about 30 more minutes and I'll come back and check you and then we'll go over options. And I was like, what options? Like, what does this mean for me?
Right.
And she was like, maybe C-section. And I was just like, okay. She leaves. They come in. They're doing blood work because they said with how long I had been since my water broke that I could get an infection
Okay.
if they didn't get this baby out because it had almost been 24 hours.
Got it.
I was
Right.
at like 21 hours. So I'm crying. I'm getting blood work, which I hate blood work. I pass out every time I get blood work. But I was good because I was just freaking out. I'm crying.
Yeah.
Not because of C-section. I actually kind of always wanted a C-section. In the weirdest way, I always was. My mom had a C-section first. My sister had a C-section first. So I was very fluid with if I need a C-section, just do it. So when she came back in, I was like, I'm going to be honest. If I need a C-section, just put me in for that C-section.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be traumatized. And she was like, if you try to push, it is going to be hard. But she didn't want to tell me, you have to get a C-section.
Right.
But she took what I said and was like, okay, I don't want to traumatize this girl. We're going to put her in for a C-section.
Okay.
Because she said it would have been hard.
Right.
So I went in and had a C-section, and that was it. And he was born at 4:58 p.m. And I wasn't up and well, I'd say, till 3 a.m. Did
Oh,
you
wow, okay.
like struggle like waking up because I was sick? Like
No,
I was
I was
so
pretty
groggy.
alert, but with Cooper, I had the shakes really bad after my C-section. I didn't ever have that with Court.
oh, I only
but-
had that with my epidural.
Really? I had it with Cooper afterwards. Court, I didn't experience it, but Cooper, I remember being in recovery and I'm like, I'm shaky. Like, but at that point too, because they sent me into the hospital early from my doctor's appointment and I drank coffee that morning. So they didn't let me do my C-section
Yeah.
for 6 hours after that. So at that point I had been over 24 hours without food or water.
Right.
And because you can't have water either. And so I was like,
Oh,
shaking.
I ate so many
And
popsicles.
my blood pressure was really low too. So like I just had really bad shakes. But
Yeah.
I was like alert, I would say. I was really tired with Cooper though.
Yeah,
and
I
that
was
was partly the
exhausted.
blood pressure issue,
Yeah.
I think.
I was just more upset. I feel like why I was crying was because I was like, dang, I really just did that.
Right.
Like, I do feel like I kind of got the experience of both. And I know that happens a lot where they send you for, mine wasn't an emergency C-section, but I labored all the way. I labored for 21 hours.
Right.
I did the epidural. I did all the things.
And then you got
And
the
then-
spinal tap, and then the
And then had
you
to get a
literally did
C-section.
everything.
So I really felt like I kind of got both experiences. But I feel like being fluid in my birth plan and just being okay with whatever happened
yeah,
set me up better because then I couldn't be disappointed. Like I
that's
was like,
really
whatever.
good that you had that
Yeah.
mentality going into it. Like expect the unexpected type thing.
Yeah.
I would say though that pushing her out sunny side up. Oh my gosh, they didn't tell me she was sunny side up. She came. They were like,
You didn't know?
no, I didn't know. They didn't even tell us, right?
No. So just to give everyone an update, I've been doing all this stuff right now. Bear and I got kicked off the podcast. We really need sponsors because I was thinking when I was changing her diaper, that'd be so nice if we could just cut to a commercial break right now. You know, that was horrible. Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Well, with sponsors,
She
you
has
don't
a lot to say.
Yes.
you don't cut the commercial. You just do the thing. You just edit it in.
But we could do a formal commercial break where
That would
we're
be
like,
funny
now from a
as
word from
fuck.
our sponsor.
Yeah.
Because my daughter just shit her pants.
Gross.
But what I was saying is when she was coming out, all they said was she's coming out funky, right? That's what they said. Like she's coming down the birth canal weird. They didn't say she's sunny side up.
Okay.
They just said that. So then they were putting me in all these different positions trying to flip her. And I was in labor 36 hours total, but I pushed for 4 hours because basically what they were saying with Luca being stuck, like she's stuck. Because every time I'd push, she would get sucked back in. So it's like I push,
yeah.
she gets a little bit out, but then she gets sucked back in. So she came out with what?
Look who took my spot.
She came out.
He's also eating her food.
She came out with a massive cone head, like 2 heads.
Same.
Yeah, literally.
Luca's cone head was.
Insane.
I said, well, they told me they were like his head is, so usually when you have a C-section, their head comes out perfect.
Right.
So. Yeah, I was like, nah, he was stuck, and they told me that his head. Did they tell you when she was in there?
Yeah, because they kept
knew.
seeing like how far she was in there. Because I kept saying like I feel like she's not coming out, and because I was pushing for so long.
Yeah, they kept warning me, and I'm like, why are they keep telling?
About
They
the head?
they said,
He's so
Dad.
nervous.
They said, Dad, trust me, she's gonna look like an alien. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Dad,
Yeah.
she's gonna look crazy. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then she came out, and her head was 10 inches long, and I was like, oh.
So big.
You
kept
guys
telling
showed
Nick
us that picture of her head from the video, and it was
it's on your
it
phone.
looked like it was photoshopped. Like it
Yes.
did not even
Just
look
really
real.
long.
Oh my gosh! It literally looked. I'm gonna see if I think it's on Zach's phone, but
I
I'm gonna look
kind
on
of
mine.
knew what that was gonna look like. So I was trying to make sure Nick knew because I was like, Nick is gonna be like, what? I just think they know that the dad is gonna be like, what is wrong with my baby's head?
Yes.
But I was freaking out too.
Right.
I said, Mom, put a hat straight on that baby. I was like, I really don't. So I didn't even
right.
see it really for a while because they put a
Yes.
hat on him.
That's what they literally did. I only saw it from the photo because
Yeah.
they immediately put a hat on her. But so coming out sunny side up, which obviously I didn't know, she wrecked my, I felt like my tailbone was fractured so bad because they were warning me. They're like, your butt's going to hurt. Like you could potentially have a broken butt or it's just going to be like a deep internal bruise. And they were not lying because once those meds wore off, like the epidural, I couldn't drive for 5 months. I couldn't, if you would have asked me at like under 5 months of her life, like if I ever could sit up again, I'd tell you no. Like I couldn't even sit up. I would have to be on the side and everything. And it was one of the worst pains of my life. Did you find it? Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Let me see. I don't feel like I ever saw this.
Is it? You could see how it's like 2
Oh
heads.
my god,
Wait, let me see it again.
That's my daughter.
dude! I didn't know it was like that.
Section.
I didn't know it was.
Now she has adorable head though, so
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
And how long did it take to?
Like not that long,
Yeah.
right?
So like the initial swelling
Yeah.
took like probably a couple hours because they put a hat on her right away too.
Look at that.
But yeah, she looks. Have you seen that family out in West Virginia, West Virginia, the incest family?
Yes.
Yeah, she looks like that in that picture.
No, just the head.
So
Yeah, just the head, just the head. Beautiful face. Yeah, it is extreme, right?
No,
yeah.
but Lucas was
it was pretty
it was
big.
a pretty gnarly
Yeah.
cone head. But I'm glad that they told me before.
Right.
But so Nick, when the
I know, my
baby
head's
came
getting,
out,
like,
my mom, he had my phone and my mom and sister texting like, update, and he sent the first picture, and Kayla literally was like, Mom, don't send that picture because she's gonna start sending it to the family, and she's like, Jessica's gonna kill you. Like,
funny.
I was like, we're just gonna pretend like that one doesn't exist.
I don't think I ever saw that one of Denver.
You didn't?
No, like I remember you guys telling me she had a
Lexi,
cone head,
did
but
you?
I don't think
Yeah.
you guys ever showed me
Yeah.
her cone
it's
head.
literally two
Guys,
heads.
I also had a big baby.
How big was he?
Well, he was 8 pounds even.
It's pretty
but
big,
all
yeah.
the nurses were coming in being like, he came out of you? Like, I was like, yeah. And I was kind of worried about that in my pregnancy because I had one ultrasound where they told me he was average or like 50%. And then the next one, they said he was 87%. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, how big is this baby?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared.
Right. How was your pregnancy overall?
Oh, perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like you had a really good like pregnancy, and then when you were able to go into your birthing plan, you were just like open-minded.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. So and then my baby is so good and cute. So I'm like, yeah, 10 more
Right.
of them, please.
Right. Right. So
I really-
next child, would you try a VBAC or are you doing C-section?
So my doctor, I don't know if this is weird, but my doctor doesn't really do VBACs.
Oh, okay.
So, but she asked me, she's like, well, how many kids do you want? And I said 3 to 4. And she was like, okay, if you want 4, we should try for a VBAC. If you
cool.
want 3, you can do 3 C-sections.
Yeah.
My plan is to just go with another C-section, honestly.
Yeah.
I just feel like I did it, and I don't know. At this point,
Right.
not saying I feel like, oh, it's easier, because, you know, they're both different in their own ways.
Completely.
But I'm kind of just like, let's just do it again. I don't know.
Right.
But also, I did so good laboring that even my sister and Nick, they're like, I feel like you would have pushed him out like a champ. Like,
Yeah.
you handled it so well.
Yeah,
that
that's amazing,
I think I
right.
should go for a VBAC just because
Just
it's
to
not like
try
I
it.
had a bad experience.
Right.
So I probably should.
Dads, get out.
but-
Just get out.
Yeah, just go. Bye. We're talking girly things anyways.
We'll call you back up for the exit question.
They're gone.
Anyway,
Gone.
so oh shit, we're moms.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I think whatever decision obviously you
Yeah.
do will be the best decision for you, but it's so cool that you're like open because a lot of people are like, I'm only doing this or I'm only doing that. Like they're
Yeah.
very one-sided, and I feel like I was going into my birth plan, and then when they came in, when I reached it was like 3.5 hours, and they were like, we're going in for emergency C-section because she's not coming out. And I was like, I could feel kind of her head was down there, and I had seen 4 doctors. I had 4 different nurses because I was there for so long. And
Yeah.
I was like, just get one more opinion on me, like to see if I need to go in or not, because I was so exhausted at that point. I'm like, I worked so hard, just like let her come out already.
That's where I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to push for
That's
hours
right.
and then get sent to a C-section.
Yes, that's
that
what-
was my thing.
I was at 3.
I probably would have been in the position that you were in. That's probably what they were telling me.
You probably would have
Yeah.
because they didn't even warn. So it's really good they warned you because they didn't warn us. They just said she's coming out funky. So when they said that, I was like, I don't really know what that means, but okay. Like, all right, I guess we'll just do. Because they kept putting, it's not like they were like prepping me like, oh, if she doesn't come out, you're going to have to go into a C-section. They told me that at hour 3.5 because they were like,
Oh
we don't
my
like you to
gosh.
push past 4 hours. And I was like, I've made it this far and you're just now telling me this. Like,
Yeah,
we could have
you're like,
had the easier option beforehand.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
And that's why when the doctor left the room, my mom was like, speak up, tell her.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's why I just was like, if it's
Right.
If you think there's a chance that I'm gonna get sent for a C-section, let's just do it.
Yes, exactly.
So
when you had the spinal tap, how did it work for, I think this is our first mom that we've had do both or anyone talk about.
They didn't
So-
have to redo it.
So they just put new medicine into the area?
Yeah.
Did you go completely numb?
Didn't you feel part of it though? Like,
Oh, you
when they knocked
did?
you out?
Oh, I skipped over that. So, wait, this is actually a crazy part, I feel like. So, they're prepping us. They're telling Nick, they're like, okay, Dad, like, we're going to bring you in. She's going to be awake for her C-section. We're going to get her all prepped, and then we'll come and get you. We get in there. They didn't wait for him. All of a sudden, they start
gosh.
going for it, and I was feeling it. And all I remember is screaming.
What? Wait, so Nick wasn't in there
Nick
yet?
wasn't in
Well,
there.
they start the C-section without Dad.
Oh, okay.
That
Like
is
how-
like a normal thing.
So, like, how, when
like
did they
when
bring
Brandon
him in?
talks about how he was in the room and it felt like it was for like hours
Yeah.
by himself. Like it's like right before, like they start cutting open and
Oh,
stuff.
oh my
And then they bring
gosh.
Dad in, and then it's like within probably like 5 minutes of Dad being in there, then they're like, okay, it's baby time.
So they're like kind of already like in
Yeah.
just layers in you, and then they bring.
See, I didn't know that. But also I didn't know. It's not like they're like, all right, we're going.
yeah,
like
they
I'm,
don't tell you. They just
Oh, they just start.
I'm laying there naked on the table, just like what's going on, arms out. And I
Right.
think I was like gone by that. Like I don't really,
Yeah.
I was just already out of it.
Right.
And all I remember is letting out like 3 screams
Oh my god.
and out.
So what did you like feel? What
I just could feel, I guess, like,
was it like pulling or like
and
a sharp
they tell
feeling?
you
You
you're gonna
feel
pulling and
pressure,
but I
feel tugging and pushing and pulling. Like
Yeah.
you feel all those things, but not in a sense of like pain. It's just like you can feel that somebody's like leaning into
Yeah.
you, type of thing. Like you feel like something's on
like they're kind of
you.
putting their weight
yeah,
on you.
right.
type
Yeah,
thing?
exactly.
I
But
felt
you don't feel like
pain.
Oh
sharp.
my gosh! Wait, so you told them that, or you just screamed?
I was just
and that-
screaming. That's all I remember. And I'm
Wow.
not like that. Like I feel like one of my procedures that I had like for one of my exams when I was doing that fertility testing was something that some people do go under for, or they'll give you laughing gas.
Yeah.
And my doctor gave me laughing gas and I didn't even use it. So when I'm telling you, like, I feel like I have a pretty
very high pain tolerance.
I mean, obviously that's cutting through. That's
Yeah.
way different. But I just started screaming. And then Nick walks in after being told she's going to be awake, walks in. He's like, I walked in and you were out.
Oh, that's like terrifying
that's
for him,
scary.
right? Like he
Yeah,
walks
so-
in and you're just KO.
Out.
Like what?
Yeah, and so then, you know, I didn't get to hear the baby cry, which kind of makes me sad. Like I was asleep for the whole C-section, which, okay, I got to be asleep for the C-section,
Yeah.
but I didn't get to hear him cry, and then I just feel like I was so out of it. But then I woke up to Nick holding the baby and crying his eyes out.
gosh.
I was like, he's like, oh, I was bawling my eyes out. Like, and in all the pictures, it's so cute. You just see his tears
my
like flowing
gosh.
down his face.
Wait, so when they knock you out when you're feeling pain?
I guess.
Is
So
that how
the
it works?
next day when I talked to my doctor, because the whole rest of the time I was like, dang, I really fell asleep in my C-section. I thought I fell asleep.
Right.
I thought I fell asleep
Yeah.
in my C-section, and we were laughing about it. And my doctor was like, oh, girl, we knocked you out.
Oh,
And I was like,
that's so
oh, she was like,
interesting.
you were feeling it too much.
Yeah.
So we had to give you more and just put you out. And I was like, oh.
So how long?
So I was fully put to sleep.
How long did you wake up after the procedure? Like, do you know how long it was?
I guess pretty quick
Oh,
because
okay.
once we were still in that room, like I was
okay.
awake when they were putting me back together or whatever. And Nick was he's like, I saw all your.
Oh, he saw that?
He's like, I saw everything.
Yeah.
I saw all your insides. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because he's just not. Like, I thought he was
Right.
going to pass out if I had
Right,
delivered.
right.
I was like, I'm going to lose him.
Yeah.
And that's why I had my mom and my sister in the room with me. The
Aw.
whole plan was that it was going to be Nick, my mom, and my sister.
Okay.
So they were with us the whole time, or from the morning the next day, because we spent the night. My sister came in right after I got my epidural, though, at like midnight. She came at like 2 a.m. She was in there partying.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on this bed, and she was
Right.
just getting the vibes up. So
Right.
bless her heart, because it really helped. And then I was like, okay, I'll call you back in the morning to come
Yeah.
back. So then they came back, and I was gonna have them in the room. My sister thought she was gonna scrub in. That was her plan. She's like, I'm gonna ask if I can pull him out. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
funny.
Whatever, just nick at my head. You guys can go down there and nick at my head, because I was like, I will lose him. And then he comes in and sees all my insides, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, he saw everything.
He's like, I've seen more of you than you have.
Right.
That's why I
So-
told Brandon, I said, it's kind of unfair that, like, you've seen literally inside my body like that, and I'll
Right.
never get to see that
Right.
deep into you.
Right.
And he got
Right.
to take my baby first.
Right.
No, but I kind of
Yeah.
love that. And then he got to cut the cord, and
That's
all
the
that.
one thing that kind of stinks about C-section is that dad does usually get to hold the baby first.
Right.
Which, I mean, like, good for him. But
I wanted him,
Yeah,
so I
you
wanted him
wanted-
to just like plopped down on
Yeah.
me. He was like, don't you want them to like bathe? He was like, I want them to like wash him off before. And I was like, no. Just pull him out and lay him on me. I'm like, give me all this slime.
Yeah.
Like, I want my baby.
Right. So how
yeah.
was your healing process at the hospital, like your postpartum directly and then at home?
I feel like the next day I was the best
Oh.
that I had been the whole recovery.
Okay.
The next day, I don't know if it was the adrenaline, but I felt good. I
Mm-hmm.
was moving around. Everyone was kind of like, are you good? Like I was just
Yeah.
moving around and
Right.
whatever. But I feel like in the middle of the night, I don't know if you were like, I couldn't get up to get the baby. Nick had to bring me the baby. And then even when we got home, I just couldn't get up. I love that you can hear the kids.
Right.
And for a second, I kind of thought it was like background sound. I'm like, wait, where are they? But I just didn't like that I felt like I couldn't do everything. I almost felt guilty, especially up until I was fully awake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having my mom and Kayla in there, they were helping Nick with the baby, and I just remember
Right.
laying there and like waking up, and I'd look around and fall back asleep.
Oh,
and I do
so
like,
tired.
yeah, I'm like, next time I have a C-section, can we do it at like 5 a.m. so that by noon I can like
True.
be up?
True.
Because I didn't like that I had to go the whole night not being there.
Right.
Feeling like, you know, but I had watched my sister do it. So I feel like just having experience with other moms that had already done it and being in the room with Kayla, like, did help me. I'd be like, okay, this is normal. Go to sleep.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I didn't like feeling so in pain, and you're really
Yeah.
cut open and put back together and then expected to get up and take care of a baby. And that's,
Right. Right.
really
You
hard.
also
A
didn't
lot.
get, like, you only got ibuprofen, right?
Yes, I didn't get any of the.
She only got
hardcore
ibuprofen, but I got,
Oh.
I was taking Percocet.
So
Okay, wait, no, they did prescribe me perks for
they-
when I went home, and I
Oh,
just didn't
okay.
take them.
Yeah, I took them for the first few days, but I really don't like the way that they make me feel.
Yeah, I was worried for that.
I only took them like really that first couple of days, and then afterwards, like maybe once or twice when I was like, I'm hurting, like I did too much. And that's the hard thing about recovering from a C-section specifically. I can't speak for like a vaginal birth, obviously, but with a C-section, they say like, you know, like you gotta take it easy, don't do too much, like whatever. But then
Yeah.
also the more you move, the faster your recovery is. Like if you're getting up and walking around, it helps your recovery versus if you're laying in bed all the time and like you're not moving your body, it takes your body a lot longer to kind of bounce back. But it's like you don't know you've gone too far and you've done too much until you've done it.
Yeah, and I remember you
Yes.
texting me being like, just keep moving, keep
Yeah.
moving. So
right. How is your scar area right now?
it's fine. I feel
good.
like, but what I was like, is there even a point in trying to, you know, fix the scar or make it lighter if I'm gonna have another C-section?
Right.
I don't know, but it's
Right.
all good for a little bit. Oh, it just was so sore for a long
Like,
time.
Are you still
Tender?
numb?
Kind of like
Really?
right above the area where this incision
so
is.
interesting.
If I touch it, it just kind of feels like I don't know.
Yeah, the lower half of my stomach is still numb. Like if I push on it, like I can feel pressure, but I can't feel
that's
the
so
like,
weird.
Interesting.
actual like fingers touching my
That
stomach.
was with
pushing.
Court too, right? And then it just continued with. Didn't they say when you're done having babies, they can help you with that?
Yeah, they said, well, not so much the numbness, but they said when I'm done having babies that when I go for my last C-section, they'll take out all the scar tissue area and close it in. So like they'll essentially like cut out all of the scarring before and then just make one clean scar incision.
That's awesome
rather
they
than
offer
having-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
But you have to know that that's going to be your last baby.
That's so right.
So, like, that's
you got to be confident.
that's
Bears
something-
got to be
yeah.
confident.
Yeah, that's something else too that like we've talked about is like when you have a C-section too, like they'll offer you like, do you want to just have your tubes tied while we're in there? Like,
Did they do that with Cooper?
They offered me it with Cooper,
Really?
and they're like, "Do you want your tubes tied while we're in there, just so that to get it done with?" And it's like on the one hand, I would like that when I am done having kids, so I never have to have that like. Fuck, am I
Yeah,
pregnant?
right,
Like I don't want to
right,
have any
right.
more babies, but I'm so scared of the permanency of that
Right.
because I don't want to be like after 3 kids. Like we think we want 3 kids, but what if we decide later on we want 4?
Right.
But then at the
Right.
same time, if I don't get it done then,
Right.
I don't know if I'm ever gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So it's
True.
such a
That's
hard
so
decision
hard.
because
it's like a push-pull
yeah,
constantly.
and the same with like the incision thing. Like they're only gonna do it like when I'm done having kids because they're taking extra skin and like they can't just keep taking more and more and more out. Like, and then there's gonna be nothing left. So like I have to be like, yeah, this is gonna be my last one
Right.
for them to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like.
That's such a. How do you like make that decision?
I mean, I
right?
think next time maybe they would take it. They would do the scarring a little bit because I had a lot of scar tissue. They said from Cortland with Cooper, so she was
Okay.
like, "I'm having to pull a lot more. Like you're gonna feel a lot of pressure right now because I'm trying to get through this scar tissue."
Oh, wow.
Right. Right.
So, but I also had a hard time with my incision healing with Cortland. So I don't know if that contributed to that at all.
That's true. You went through a really hard time with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
How, like it never really healed, right?
Yeah,
Like, at all.
I mean, it did eventually, but I was still slightly like open in some spots when I went back to work with Court at 12 weeks.
That's
and
like,
but with
oh.
Cooper, it's been fine. Like I haven't had any problems. I think one, I found out that I'm allergic to adhesive.
such you had to find out like that way.
Yeah, because with Cortland, they put on this adhesive bandage that was supposed to stay on for a week. And with him, one, I had a reaction to the bandage. So like my skin,
Wow.
my skin
I didn't get a
respond
bandage.
well.
You didn't? It was
just open.
Yeah, my skin did not respond well to that bandage. And then even like the surrounding area, like I still have scarring like on my pubic area from the adhesive on there.
It's crazy.
So I told them, I was like, I don't want you guys to put that back on. Like that did not, they ended up having to open up parts of my incision when I went back for my post-op, like at 6 weeks. You okay? my post-op at 6 weeks, they had to cauterize part of my incision, so they had to like open it up a little bit and then put liquid nitrate inside. That was literally probably the most painful thing I've ever done.
No.
And he was like, "You're not gonna like me right now."
Oh no.
And like, there's no numbing, nothing. Like, he was like, "You're not gonna like me. This is gonna hurt."
No,
and he
no,
pulls
no.
out a Q-tip that's like 10 inches long, and he was like, I have to put this in there, open it up, and then I have to put this stuff and it's going to burn. And it hurt so bad.
Was it like
I
a
was
fire
sweating.
ice type feeling?
Yeah, I was sweating. My mom was in there with me because I had Cortland because I couldn't drive yet.
Right.
And my mom was in there with me, and I was like literally looking at her, and I was like, I think I'm going to throw up right now. Like,
was it quick or did it last that feeling like for a while?
it was quick, but like I had pain around my incision because it wasn't healing right.
Right.
So after that though, it did heal like for the most part, but you could tell that there was areas that were just like the skin was raw from being so like traumatized. But with Cooper, I didn't have any of that. So
Which is good.
Yeah.
Wait, so did you get any type of bandage with Cooper?
Hang on, I'm gonna give it.
But we're a parenting podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
Like,
exactly.
I feel like we're so used.
it fits.
Yeah, you should. We're so used to the noise that we tune it out, but I feel like when I listen back to all of our podcasts all the time, and like I don't even really notice it.
No.
I'm just like, it's fine.
And sometimes I'll hear it on your podcast and be like, oh.
yeah, right. Little baby noises.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is so like.
Ooh, head of the table.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back, and Lexi is what should we call you? Like what Rogan? What is your name gonna be? Not
Joanne Rogan.
Joanne Rogan.
Joanne Rogan.
What did it look like down there when you just peeped down?
So I said, "Can you take Cooper?" And Zach said, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Can you take Cooper?" He said, "You're not inviting us back up. You're just asking us to take another baby." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You guys better be hyping us up there, saying that we're the best dads ever."
All right, let's give him a hype
No,
ring.
Nick was like, you better talk about how I am the best. He is though. He is a good daddy.
Yeah.
Good.
A good zaddy.
There you go. We have really good fathers for our kids.
Yes, that's
so
great.
I'm glad. Let's just give a little hype. What did they look like? Just playing down there with the kids.
Brandon was in the kitchen doing something. I don't know what he was
He's
doing.
always in the kitchen. He
Always
loves
in
you.
the kitchen.
He's always in the kitchen.
Denver,
Yeah.
Denver was playing by the dining room table.
Okay.
Court was playing by the couch, running, being crazy, and I don't know what they were doing, but they were.
Okay.
It wasn't mayhem. So
Okay. Go.
Nick
Dads.
would be in the trenches. He would be like, can we switch?
Yeah.
I actually sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna go run to Target, so I'm gonna leave you with the baby. And he goes, well, we'll just all come because he's like, I'd rather just go and he does that sometimes.
So what is something that?
okay, wait.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You were
Go
asking.
ahead.
What did they put
Oh, with Cooper.
Cooper?
Did they give you a bandage with him, like any type of bandage?
So I told them I didn't want the thing that they put on because I had a reaction to it, and she's like, yeah, I can see the scarring like around the area from it. So she's like, we're not using that. And then so she was like, okay, so we'll put something else on it. And then at the beginning of my C-section, because I have loose skin from my first pregnancy, they were taping my stomach to pull it up so that they could get to the incision. And so she was like taping my loose skin up, and she was like, we have to take this off right now. She's like, you're already reacting to it. Like your stomach's already getting a rash from this. So she's like, we have to take this off. She's like, we're just going to try this tape instead. And the tape that they did use was I didn't react to. So it's not all adhesive, but I think it's sterile adhesive specifically because like the bandage was a sterile adhesive.
Right.
The tape that they put on like my arms for the IV, that didn't react anything, like nothing. The Band-Aids, they don't react, but like it's like any sterile tape for like surgery. So she put different tape on, and she's like, yeah, okay, that's better. And so when they did close me up, they put little like butterfly strips on my incision, and she was like, just leave them, they're gonna fall off by themselves. If they're not all off by the time you come for your post-op appointment, then we'll take the rest off, but they did all come off by themselves. So yeah, I like literally just had like little butterfly steri strips like in a line.
I'm glad that worked much better.
Yeah,
because I know that was like a process.
Well, I'm confused why they just let me.
Yeah, me too. Right?
Just
you're just open.
Just let it open. Let it breathe.
Right.
well, like, I mean, I don't know when because it wasn't my doctor that did Cortland's C-section. It was the on-call doctor. And she was like, oh, we're going to use this new thing. It's a new technology.
I'd be like,
yeah, it was. She's like, it's a new technology. And then my skin did not respond well
Okay,
to
well, totally.
it. And so I was like,
Right.
okay, new technology obviously has a problem.
Yeah.
Right, you were like the trial.
Yeah, I was like, and my doctor's office didn't use that at the time. She was, and then when I went back and I told her what I had, she's like, some of us use it, some of us don't. But like, no matter who you have, if you don't want it, we won't use it. And I was like, okay. And then when she saw the scarring, she's like, yeah, you definitely can't have that again.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, what was one thing that you expected versus not expected out of your birth, labor, postpartum experience that you've had like a harder time with or a really good time? Like, for example, night feedings, was that like, oh my fuck, I'm gonna have to wake up for this? But like, you could hate them. I mean, they're hard. But, or are you like, oh, I actually don't mind them? Like
I
something
guess
like
just
that.
like back to the breastfeeding
Breastfeeding,
thing.
yeah.
Like I have had a really hard time, and things that I've talked to other moms about that they're like, yeah, that didn't happen to me. Like I 3 different times pulled my pump off and it was bright red.
Oh.
Yeah, you were having like a lot of that.
I was bleeding.
I never had that specifically where like
Yeah.
my milk was pink. Like my nipples would bleed, but
So, and I think it was the nipple. I don't think it actually was blood coming out. I guess just it can be from a bad latch.
Okay.
So I just think that breastfeeding and the whole experience was definitely harder than I expected.
Yeah.
Just because it can be different. Everyone's different. And for some people, it's like, yeah, baby's born, you just pop them on.
Right,
Where for
right.
me, like, I had clogged ducts, mastitis,
Oh my, you
bleeding.
had it
Like, I
all.
had all the things, all the reasons to be
Yeah.
like, give up. And
You've
then
gone
I
through
just
like
didn't.
everything. I feel like from your pregnancy to
And then
now,
I'm still like, when's the next one? Like, what is
Right.
wrong with me? I don't know. I think I
remember
just love it.
talking
Yeah.
to my mom though about your birth like story and what like your situation was, and I remember you saying like, I loved my birth story though, like I feel so at peace with it.
I really-
And I felt like I was like, damn, I told my mom, I was like, damn, she's like at peace with that. And like, I had like birthing trauma from Cortland, and not even because my birth was bad, but because he got taken to the NICU, and like I had birthing
that's
trauma,
really hard.
but your birthing experience itself was really hard. And so
It
like,
was.
but you felt like it was such like a great experience. And like, I'm like, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like,
I do think that like, no, it's okay. My best friend, we were just talking about this the other day, and she's like, basically like, I feel like I'm really taking motherhood like by the balls, like really am. And she's like, I just don't know how you're doing it. She's like, I'm in the trenches, and I feel like bad things are like hard things are happening.
Yes.
And I'm just like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
it's because I've always wanted it.
that's true.
Like
that's true.
I have wanted to be a mom for my whole life. When we were little, what do you want to be? People are like a doctor, an astronaut. I'm like a mom or Britney Spears. Like what? So I just feel like I've wanted it for so long that even though it's really hard, I'm just like, this is my story. It is what it is. But it does make me nervous because I feel like the next one
yeah.
might not be that way. I think
Right.
it really, yes, it set me up to where I didn't have a traumatizing time, but it's like, but what's going to happen next?
I feel like your mentality though is so good. Like you're kind of just going with the flow,
I am.
and I feel like that's good for another kid.
And I forgot to add, when I found out I was pregnant, I actually did have a lot of anxiety just
Okay.
because of the situation and how I got pregnant. I've heard stories that like, yeah, it does increase your chances of getting pregnant, but it might not end. Like there was
Like an
how much-
added risk.
yeah, like risk, or
risk with
complication,
it, yeah. And I can't tell you how many mornings I woke up bawling my eyes out because I just was like, I just want everything to be okay.
Of course.
I don't feel pregnant. I'd be just crying. I'd wake
Right.
up crying and be like,
Which I feel like is so normal, especially in that like first trimester.
you don't get an ultrasound
Yeah.
for so long.
8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks.
I found out
Yeah.
I was pregnant at 3 weeks.
so you had to
Yeah.
wait so
I was
long.
10 days
Oh,
post ovulation and
my
was just told
gosh.
I wasn't going to be able to get pregnant. And now I'm pregnant or maybe couldn't get pregnant. And now I'm
Right.
pregnant. And I was like, how do I know everything's okay? I was freaking
I feel
out.
like
that
until
stressful.
you feel the baby start moving, that is like the most stressful time of pregnancy, because you're like, are you still in there? Are you still good? Are you still alive?
Yeah, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Also, should have asked this when the dads were up here, but I don't know about how it was for you guys, but Nick like did not really like, I guess, understand that I was really pregnant until after the first ultrasound, but more so like once I had a bump.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the beginning it's really lonely because I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant, I don't feel good. And he's like, you're barely even pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
right.
before they can really see, oh, there is a baby coming.
Right.
It's just kind of lonely because they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel
Right.
like too, like I always had said that the first trimester of pregnancy is the worst, not only because you just feel so shitty, but like you don't even get the good parts of pregnancy at that point. Like you just feel like you have a never ending hangover. I feel like, you know, like you get like all of the shit but none of the fun because you know, you're not feeling the baby move, you don't look pregnant, so like people aren't like, oh well, she's pregnant, like that's what, like, you know, like when you're pregnant you get like a little, like people are not like pity you, but they're like, they're so much nicer to you because they're like, oh, look at this little girl, like she's like so pregnant, and like,
oh, and you know I ate that up. I'm a Leo.
So
I was like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. I'm in the grocery store and they're like, you're so cute. And I'm like, thanks.
but like,
I was loving it.
nobody knows you're pregnant, and then you feel like shit. You're moody as hell because you don't feel good. But like I had terrible insomnia both pregnancies, so like I felt nauseous. I wasn't sleeping. Like your hormone changed, so you're emotional. You're nervous because everything's changing, and you're like, you have all these anxieties and fears, and like, is everything gonna be okay? How are we gonna do this? Like you have all these things coming into your brain, and so like the first trimester just sucks.
There's so much it's like the unknown like trimester. You just don't know. Like
once you know the gender
game.
and you have your bump and you're seeing the baby move on the ultrasound, I'm like, oh,
I know, right?
I love that.
Did you think you were having a boy?
Oh no.
You didn't?
So
you were
gender disappointment? No, I didn't.
But that's okay. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I had gender disappointment. I know we kind of can relate on like the first a little bit, but I've always wanted girls, but I always knew I was gonna have boys. Also, the Napoleon name, they are known boys.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, he has like 4 boy cousins,
and
they have boys, and they have and everyone has boys, and there's just a lot of boys.
And
in
they
that
say
family.
the sperm is what determines it.
So I kind of was like, this
like,
baby's a boy.
right.
But we did both think it was a girl.
Really?
And I was at peace with having a boy just because of like losing my brother. My family needed a boy.
Right.
Like my parents both were like, we want a boy, we want a boy. My mom is such a boy mom.
Aw.
Everyone wanted me to have a boy.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know I want a girl. But when I found out he was a boy, I did kind of have like a... like I definitely, I don't know, we were holding the cake on the way to go break it open and see what we were having, and we were like, we don't even need to do this, it's pink.
Oh my gosh.
we
So
were
you
like,
guys were
it's
like so set.
That's how
but
I
Nick
was with
wanted a boy.
Cortland.
Yeah.
Nick wanted a boy though.
Okay,
So I
okay.
was like, oh, like Nick went crazy when he found out boy. Done. He thinks the next one will be a girl. I think I'm gonna be a boy mom. Like I really now
like Lexi.
I think I'm gonna be a boy mom.
Yeah. You should look at the Chinese calendar. I'm such a Chinese calendar girl.
That is the one thing I believe in is the Chinese
Was
calendar.
it a boy?
And it was boy. I've never seen anyone's wrong. But
Mine were wrong.
Yeah, Lexi's was
Both
wrong.
of them.
stop! Don't tell me that because I swear I'm like, oh.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yes.
what month did you get pregnant? How old are you? You're having a girl.
That's me too.
No, I do that. And okay, but so I'm gonna be 30 this year.
Oh.
And for 30 and 31, it's all pink.
Oh, okay.
So I do holding on to my
Okay.
Chinese calendar. I'm like, don't let me
Don't
down.
let me down.
I do. I'm like, it's gonna be a girl.
So, but the next 2 years, girl. So it's gonna be a girl. Like you
because
got
I'm
time,
having
right?
another
Right. That's so exciting, though. So
Yeah.
exciting. I think I'm a firm believer, but then when Lexi's was wrong, I was like, what the fuck
Mine,
is up with this? Yeah,
so
like,
I didn't. Mine
that's
wasn't
crazy.
the Chinese calendar that I was a firm believer in. Mine was heart rate. Like I was like heart rate,
See,
heart
that
rate.
is a lie.
And
Yeah, 'cause
I see
mine was-
everyone's like, oh, mine's high with boys. Mine was so high. His was
yeah, well,
Denver's was the opposite.
yeah, Denver's was the only one that I was ever wrong with.
Yeah.
and so I've been like firm in the heart rate, but then Cooper's was wrong too. So then I was like,
Yeah.
Damn it. I didn't even have like the symptoms too. Like with Denver, we were so certain it was a boy too. And like Lex, it's a boy. And we were like, yeah, we think it is too. But then we weren't we were fine with whatever. But when we saw the cake, we're like, oh my gosh, it's actually a girl.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
That
We were
is-
so firm on being a boy because Zach has a lot of boys in his family.
Yeah.
So like, it was like for us to bring the first girl, it's just a girl hasn't been in his family forever. So we
yeah, that's
thought it was a boy,
crazy.
but we are obviously fine. We would like to have both one day. That'd be awesome. But if not, it's whatever.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's
we're
kind
like-
of how my family is. My family's very 50-50. Like even my mom had 2 boys, 2 girls, but we haven't had a boy in a long time.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah.
Crazy,
So it was a
crazy.
big deal for my family to have a boy, but it would have been crazy for his family to get a girl.
right.
So
Right. So
yeah, but
opposite.
I thought it was a girl though.
Yeah.
But now that I have him, of course, I'm like, I get it when they're like, boys are different. I always
Yeah.
was like, yeah. No, it really is. And I still do want my girl, but I love being a boy mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Were you guys set on his name from the start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the jump when we started dating, pretty much, we knew our son would be Luca.
Oh, that's cute. So you already knew.
But we didn't have a girl name, which also
Oh.
kind of was like, okay, it's a boy. Because
Yeah.
why do we have our boy
Right.
name so set and not
Right.
have a girl name?
Right.
And then we did have his first and middle name set, and in the hospital changed it.
No way.
Because I was like, I want to use that as a first name next time.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's what you're keeping.
So now it's like,
Oh,
okay,
I
at least I
that.
have a boy name for next time.
Right.
But-
Do you have a girl name now that you're like, no, you're just like,
Not really.
Yeah.
And he always laughed at me because all the names I like have like Ella or
Oh,
or
cute.
Ellie.
Yeah.
So it's like Ariella,
Oh,
like
cute.
things like that. Not
Right.
name specific, but so I gave him a bunch of index cards with names on them before we knew, and I was like, okay, rate these, and he's like, they're all the same. I'm like, but they're not.
right.
Brandon
So-
wanted to bring up that he was like, because we were talking about this. I don't know if it was last week or just like us talking, but how, you know, once you know somebody who uses that name, like it's just like off limits. You
Right.
can't use that name. And he
Right.
was like, I hate that. But like also like if somebody named their kid Cortland, I'd be like, what the fuck? So like, but when we were picking out names for Cortland, he kept saying Luca, and that's what his
Really?
mom kept saying. And she's like, an Italian name because Brandon's obviously not like an Italian name, but his middle name is Giovanni and her middle name is Giovanna. And so like she was like, do the Italian name, like Luca. And I was just never like, I just never felt like it fit. I was like, I like the name. And so like it was always like our backup plan. If if all else failed, we couldn't come up with a name, like that was the name we were gonna go
so
with.
weird
But
to
I
think
never
about.
felt like it was like, it didn't just like hit me and I was like, that's it. Like
Yeah.
that's the name. Whereas like Cortland, like he said Cortland and I was like, okay, no, that's the name.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
he was gonna bring up, he was like, you stole our name. And I was like, but we weren't, like I told you, like I never felt like that was it. Like just how he was never sold on Ace and like he
Right.
never felt like Ace was the name. Like
Yeah.
he liked the name, but he just couldn't like feel like he had that connection to it.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt with Luca. I'm like, I don't know, it's just like it's not sticking to me.
See, I never
And
had a
so-
boy name I really liked.
Yeah. It's boy names
So-
are so
It
hard.
So
is,
hard.
But Luca was just like boom. And everyone asks us if we named him after the basketball player Luca, and we didn't.
Oh my
But
gosh.
everyone.
Really?
Everyone. But we did name him and have the baby, and then of course Luca went like bawled out last
Right,
year while I was
right.
pregnant, and I was like,
Oh,
we're
so
gonna announce his name and
oh
everyone's
my
gonna think like we're not even fans.
It's just like Cortland
Right.
Sutton, like the
Like-
Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
we're,
people are like,
like
oh,
we're
is
not
it-
like Broncos
like,
fans,
no.
Yes.
but
I am a Broncos fan, and that is not why her name is Denver, which is like our like
Wait, that's
hard
funny,
thing.
yeah.
Yes, it is just such like, and I'm also born in Denver, so everyone's like, oh, you're that, and I'm like, no, it's actually from a street sign. We got her name.
in like North Carolina or something.
Yeah,
Like,
literally
that's
in the
funny.
ghetto in North Carolina, like unexpectedly. Like we already knew the name, obviously. Everyone just knows that name. You know the city, you know the team, but
Yeah.
it was just like we saw it and we're like, oh shit, that's her name.
That's
But
a
this was
cute
also
name.
like 7 years ago.
See, you guys have more like unique. I don't think Luca is overdone. I feel like I don't know anyone with a Luca,
No.
so I was
Yeah, I
like,
don't think I
whatever.
do either.
But it's always on the lists.
I feel like it's becoming,
but with a C, and
yeah,
mine's with a K.
yeah. I feel like
True,
it's becoming
true.
a more utilized name, but it's not like a
Yeah.
super popular name.
Yeah.
Do you guys for future kids want to go like more like Luca, it's because like we said, it's not more common. It's not like super unique. Do you want to stick with that, or would you want to go unique? Or
So the boy name that we had as the middle name that we want to use is not. It's unique. Like, I'll tell you and then cut it out.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon, cut this out.
He's got a lot to cut out already.
But it's
I love that.
Yeah, you can
That's
bleep
so
it.
cool. Yeah,
Bleep it.
Yeah, that will actually people be like
Yeah.
interested to see what your next kid's gonna be.
Write down
Yeah,
115 because that's like where it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so sick.
So his name was Lucas.
sounds so
and
good together,
I
like
just
brothers.
think it sounds like
It just seems it's like very naturey. Like I know Luca itself
I
is
know.
not nature, but like I don't know.
But it's still
I
kinda
correlate
like
Luca with like the ocean.
the ocean, and so that's where I feel like it was kind of for Corey. Everyone thought I was naming the baby Corey.
I think everyone. I was thinking that too. Like,
Everyone
'cause
thought I
wasn't
was
he
naming-
born around Corey's?
No, that was Avia.
Avia.
So
Okay, so
Kayla
that was Avia.
actually almost had her baby because they knew that she had to go in for a C-section, and
Yeah.
they were gonna do it on Corey's birthday.
Oh
possibly.
my gosh, were they
Yeah,
really?
which it would have been crazy. But yeah, I was like, I'm not using it, but I'm just someone else might be.
Right,
So I'm.
right.
It's gonna get used.
Yeah.
But
I know. I was thinking that when you were pregnant. I'm like, people. So many people are definitely thinking that, and some sort. But it's.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so fitting for you
But
guys. Like
that's why I just
Luca.
went Luca. It
Yeah.
reminds me of the ocean, which reminds me of him. And then
Yes.
I kind of set his vibe to it just reminds me of Corey.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I honored Corey
It's
in
so
that
special.
way. Yeah.
I love it.
I love
Aw.
it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to remind me of him. So,
Aw.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
just can like
gosh.
see it already. And my mom, she had him like 2 weekends ago, and I would go to pick him up, and she's like, I was just crying. She's like, it just makes me think of him. You know, we haven't had a baby boy since
Right.
Corey.
That's insane.
So
Yeah.
having a
Wow.
boy around, and yeah, that baby's gonna learn how to surf before he walks.
Oh my gosh, I'm
So it'll be
sure. I'm
crazy,
sure. Has
but-
he been to the beach yet?
He has, but I had him in the carrier. I want to
Okay.
wait until Nick can come with me and for us to like let
To
him like
be
touch the
be
ocean
there,
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but
That'll be
yeah.
so sweet. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be such a beach boy.
He is. I
So
hope.
sweet.
Everyone's like, well, what if he doesn't like it? And I'm like, well, he's going to.
right.
So.
Should we bring the boys back up?
Yeah, I guess.
Those off.
I
Okay.
guess.
Request.
Okay, what's the
Got to give
request?
Jessica fuck, Mary, kill. Mary, kill. Oh, wait, why can't I speak? Fuck, Mary, kill.
Okay.
Who are you giving her? He said he was going to do a closing, but he's just going to give it to you. I didn't tell him what is your name again?
Joanne.
Joanne Rogan?
No, I thought it was Joanna.
Me too. Which one is it? We'll have to listen back.
I don't know. I think
But he said go off, Lexi.
okay. Fuck, marry, kill. I'm gonna make this hard for you.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Okay. Let me think of all of them. Hang on.
You're like, let me think like Jess.
Don't
Yeah.
give her, like, the basics. Give her some really good ones.
Some like hard ones.
Yeah. I know it's hard. I got no one in mind, so I'm
Okay.
leaving
Well,
it to
I
you.
was gonna do somebody else, but I'm gonna just go with the theme of. Well, no, because I feel like that one's like obvious which one you would kill. I mean, I don't know, in my opinion. Okay.
Record, I wouldn't actually kill.
All right.
You're like, I know you'd kill this man.
Okay. So we'll do.
There is a dog.
Oh,
I was like, what?
I know I kicked him earlier, and I'm like, what did I accidentally just kick?
Oh
And
my
it was-
gosh.
It was, is that Ozzy? No, it's Ozzy.
I can't think of a third person. Hang on. I have two. I need to think of one more. Put me on the spot.
I know.
I'm like,
Bear-
I'm like
yeah,
trying to think of
it's a-
celebrities, and I'm like, I can't think of any male celebrities right now.
Yeah, it was all up to. I don't know. Bear said he was gonna also close with like a robot AI thing.
Yeah, I
Did he
know.
talk to you about that?
Yeah, he talked to me about it. I told him it was a weird idea.
What?
Bear is just you never know what you're gonna get from him.
Told me not to tell you guys. And I
Oh
was
shit! Well, you
like-
just told us.
Well, I was like, it was like a weird idea. So, okay, fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
Justin Bieber.
I knew that was coming.
Nick Jonas,
Okay.
and I gotta think of one more.
Oh.
I feel like those are really good for her already. Yeah.
Justin Bieber, Nick Jonas, and I don't know. Can you think of a third person?
I'm like blanking.
I can't think
don't
of
know why
any
I'm
famous
blanking
people
either.
right now.
Me either.
Yeah.
Give me like a. Fuck. Do you watch Outer Banks? That show just came to my
That's
head.
who I was thinking of. And I
Were
was
you
like, oh, if
really?
they say that, I'm screwed.
Okay, well, who would you say from there? Because that's who we're gonna put in. Would you say what is his name?
Chase
Why-
Stokes.
Okay, that's who we'll put in.
Okay. Nick, I love you. We're going fuck Chase Stokes.
Okay.
Marry Justin Bieber and
Okay.
kill Nick Jonas.
Okay, you know Chase Stokes is from like our
He's from
area.
here.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Do you know? You remember? Were you in Austin Sops grade?
Under.
under, he is like friends with him.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that crazy?
Oh, yeah. So is like Alex Peavy.
Oh, they're friends with him too? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like that
He's from
whole
here. And he
area.
surfs in New Smyrna and like posts like NSB Inlet. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Crazy. Imagine like the flock of people if they spotted him on the beach.
know.
I feel like I wonder if he even comes back here anymore.
I think he does.
Really?
Yeah.
I think my
That is a
Zach's
beautiful man.
my Zach's little brothers I think they saw him at a game.
Really?
Yeah, like
Oh, wow.
at a Magic game.
Oh.
Not that long ago. Don't you guys go to Magic games too?
That's my favorite date night.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
love that. It's so fun.
So
I can't
cute.
wait to take Luca.
Oh, that'll be so cute. His first one.
Yeah.
Oh.
The lights are so like I remember when we took court and he was like,
It's so much, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like constant, like the lights are flickering and they're
Uh-huh.
all going with the song, and
Yeah.
you're like, it's just a lot. Like kids are probably like, whoa.
the second time he went, he pretended to be asleep for the first half of the game.
I wasn't there, but that's what
He was
they
like-
said.
And
Wait,
then
that
he
was
would go like this and like peek out of his eye, and then he closed his eyes again.
wait, that was the one that he got height tested,
Yeah.
right? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? He's so tall, though. I always say, I'm like, imagine how tall. I feel like he's gonna level out.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be
But-
like the biggest kid in his grade until
Yes.
8th grade, and then he's just gonna like not
Yeah.
grow anymore.
Do you think
And I
he'll
feel like
be?
that's what happened.
Yes.
That was with Brandon.
Or
Yeah.
like the really short kid always
Yes.
ends up
Being really
like-
tall.
Yeah, and I'm
right?
like, pop off.
Right, right. Do you think he's gonna be taller or shorter than Bear?
I think he'll be probably the same height or maybe a little bit taller.
little bit,
I think taller.
I have
Mm-hmm.
Brandon's family's like small, like
Italian short.
Italian short. Like his mom's like 5 foot, his dad's like 5'2", his uncles are like 5 foot.
Oh.
Like they're
yeah,
all
the
short.
typical Italian.
So
man,
he's
yeah.
tall in his family.
Yeah.
But in my family, like my grandpa, he's like 6 foot. My grandma's brothers, they're like 6'1".
How tall is your dad?
Like 5'10".
5'10". Okay.
Yeah. So like I think that he'll be
Like around that.
around Brandon's height at like 5'10", maybe 6 foot. Like
Right.
I think Cooper's gonna be smaller though.
You do.
Not smaller than Brandon, like height wise, but
Just
smaller
smaller
than
than
Courtland.
Court.
Yeah.
What? Did you have another appointment for him, or was it the last one I saw you at?
The last one. You
Oh,
said,
last
right?
one. What was his measurements? Were they smaller than Court?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. I can't remember if he was 50th in weight and 85 in height, or vice versa. But Court was always just 100
Yeah.
across the
Is
board.
he still? Yeah.
I think at the
so
last one they
tall.
said he was like 105.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Our
God.
percentile, but
I'm like, I don't even understand how you go above 100%.
Right. I told because the Jared's wife Haley is not like a really tall girl, but his side of the family is. So I'm like, oh, she definitely got your genes. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna be tall. But
So interesting how genes work and
Yeah.
like
it's crazy.
how it all works.
My
Like
mom's like 4'10" and my dad's like 6'3".
Oh my gosh.
So I made it to 5'1". I'm kind of tall for my family.
right.
Like
Exactly.
5'1" and I'm the tall one here.
right.
It's for my mom's side. so.
Yeah. All right. You think we're good?
yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Oh,
What I was saying today.
oh shit.